Hey guys, this is RIX. So in the last two videos, I talked about the 3 of the most prominent heroes in the Hero League that occurred like a week ago. So if you guys haven't checked out those videos yet, I highly recommend you guys to go check them out. Links are in the description below. So now let's look at the less defined heroes of this league. Okay, first up we have Mouse or Rat King, which might be the same hero with a different name. So I think this Rat King hero is definitely Enno, the Scavenger King from Underlords, as he have a similar skill set and attacks with poison darts, gets around tunneling and have a grapple. So I think this is definitely Enno. His spells include various movement based skills like Scamper, Takedown, Grappling Hook and Tunnel, which might be the reason why Wind Range Arcana have this unused voice line.
A target's a target, doesn't matter how it moves.
Grappling Hook might be a skill shot similar to Hook Shot. I think this ability will function similar to a reverse Flaming Lasso, and this Detached Hook might be the sub ability that allows him to stop this spell prematurely. And he has a similar spell in Underlords called Escape Artist. Next up we have Tunnel. I think this ability will be a combination of Burrow and Burrow Strike, allowing him to move underground and get out through its sub ability called Cancel Tunnel. I think this ability is really interesting because it introduces a new type of mobility spell which is unique to this hero, much like how Tree Dance allows Monkey King to travel by jumping from tree to tree. And he have a bunch of toxic related spells called Nitro Flask, Toxic Bolt, and I think these abilities will be something like Swashbuckle plus Poison Sting. Again, Enno from Underlords have a similar ability like this. With all these poison related spells, he seems to be really similar to the league hero called Twitch, who is also a rat, and he has a crossbow which shoots projectiles really similar to a grapple. He also have abilities called Whip, Caltroops and Bola. Caltroops are these spiky things that you put on the ground to stop vehicles by popping their tires, and Bolas are these things that you throw to latch onto enemies' legs to trip them. So all in all, he seems like a very mobile hero who is hard to catch while being extremely annoying to deal with at the same time. All these characteristics are reflected in the voice lines directed towards him.
Quiet as a dead mouse. I suppose you and Mortimer can play together.
I'll recall you as a minor inconvenience, which is one step up from a pest. You were true to your purpose. I cannot deny.
Your tiny carcass was almost a waste of my pie.
Did we pet it too hard?
Oh, we were petting.
In my storybooks, all the forest creatures died. You know, I didn't realize until just now that you were taking yourself seriously.
I always wanted a pet. Whatever you are. Have you been hiding in some tree anyway?
Don't worry, I don't usually shoot at critters I'm not planning to eat. Too cruel. Wait, do ants count?
Next up we have Primal Beast. I think this hero is RIX from Artifact. He is a wolf who is half dog and half man, so he's kinda like a beast, and he made his first appearance in the Call to Arms comic. And there are a lot of unused voice lines towards a beast-like hero, but they all refer to a beast who can barely talk and is generally mindless. But in the comic and in Artifact we saw that he can talk and is pretty civilized when compared with the wolves that we see in our neutral camps. So if RIX is the Primal Beast, how does these voice lines refer to him? To explain this to you guys, you should know that RIX hates Elsie. And this is shown in this voice line from Dark Willow to Elsie.
RIX is gonna kill you.
So how is this hatred connected to all this, you ask? Well, there's this unfinished card from Artifact that talks about a oath-bound RIX. And from what I know, he sold his soul to Nevermore to gain power to take revenge on Elsie, which is shown from this voice line from the Quop Arcana.
Let Nevermore gloat about the soul of his pet Vool, and Rogros plan his assaults.
And the power he gained from this oath is reflected by almost all his spell names, which are Devastating Fortitude, Fury, Maul, Untamed Strength, Absolute Ferocity, Heavy Steps, Onslaught, Pummel and Roar. This unfinished card also have a continuous silence effect like Mask of Madness, which might be the reason why he can't talk. With all that out of the way, we can now look at the voice lines that are directed towards the Beast hero, as now they will make much more sense after all these explanations.
Down, boy. Are those noises intelligible? Time to put you down. A beast without reason gets slaughtered without cause. It was a brave death.
Kind of.
Inarticulate and savage. A fitting way for you to die.
Maybe this is why Anti-Mage doesn't like pets.
Good doggo. Don't seem a playful type. Good thing I ain't got a squeaker.
Got no use for a varmint what can't be trained.
You know, a quip feels kind of wasted on him. But I guess we quip for ourselves more than anything.
Too ruled by fear and emotion to choose the winning side.
Mindless is useless in my book.
So as you can see, the primal beast hero is RIX, or more specifically the Oath-bound RIX. And then we have Engineer. From his name to abilities, he screams that he is Mazzie from Artifact. So Mazzie is a keen folk just like Sniper, Snapfire and Tinker, and he kinda looks like an engineer from his overall look from these artifact cards. And there are a lot of voice lines directed towards an engineer or an inventor type hero, so listen to these voice lines.
So, have you thought about adding some black powder to every design? Oh, you're so spry. Even in my best days, I couldn't pull that off. Guess your metal don't match your steel. Where's those blueprints?
The simple tools are the best tools, especially when sharpened.
Okay, if I borrow some supplies from your workshop, I drew up some plans for some special operations. Wanna have a look?
Care to invent a way out of this one?
So looking at his abilities, I remembered something really fascinating. These spells look really similar to a hero concept idea I made back when I was playing Warcraft 3 Dota. So this is a story that takes me around 10 years back. Even back then I loved things like this, so I made a bunch of hero and item ideas just for fun from the world editor of Warcraft 3. Also I wanted to work with Icefrog so badly that I even emailed him. But I never got a reply, so yeah. So I used the existing Warcraft models to make new hero concepts for Dota, which are not official of course. And one of these heroes I made was called Brock and A3, the Dwarven Demolitions. They were based on the two dwarves who built Mjolnir, Thor's hammer, and they used the Mortar team model. I chose this model because it was really similar to the model that techies used back in Warcraft Dota. This was because I wanted to make a hero that was a rival of techies. So basically this hero is the reverse version of the defensive techies hero. While techies defends his base, this hero focuses mainly on pushing down towers and breaking the enemy's base. So his abilities were Spark Rocket, Engineering Update, Sticky Bombs, and Siege Stations. Spark Rocket sends out a rocket that deals AoE burst damage and purges units in a AoE around the target. Basically like the old Diffuser Blade active but in a AoE. Engineering Update was an armor spell that grants armor and increases attack speed. Sticky Bomb was a spell that allows you to plant a small bomb in a unit that gives vision of the unit for its duration, after which it explodes dealing burst damage. It loses its burst damage over time if you fail to activate it quickly, and you can activate it manually with the sub-ability named Kaboom. This made him choose between damage or vision. This ability's effect can be stacked multiple times to reset the duration and stack up damage. So basically it was like a single target shadow poison, but with the added bonus of granting vision over the target. And his ultimate ability was Siege Stations, which turned him into a robo-goblin. This model was the alternate form for the unit that was used for the hero Tinker, so this made him transform into Tinker. But anyways, this was a spell that granted him bonus attack range, cast range, attack damage and splash attack, while decreasing movement speed, attack speed and turn rate. When this ability is active, he gets another ability called Demolish. This Demolish ability made him deal bonus damage to structures and made his spells affect structures. This ability had a really big transformation time, so this prevented him from abusing this ability to gain an edge over his enemies. So basically his abilities were mainly focused on pushing down structures, revolving around his ultimate ability Siege Stations. Engineering Upgrade's main purpose was to mitigate the attack speed loss from his ult, while also increasing his armor while he can barely move. And the vision that Sticky Bombs provided allowed him to attack enemies with his high range and long range spells who would otherwise be in the fog of war. He can do all this while staying in a safe distance. And Spark Rocket was the spell that slowed and prevented enemies from jumping on him to kill him by taking advantage of Siege Form's huge transformation time. So when I saw this engineer hero's abilities, I was shocked to see the striking resemblance to this hero I made all those years ago. And if you guys still don't see the resemblance, let me explain. So Tesla Coil is Spark Rocket, Shield Wall is Engineering Update, Gravity Mine and its sub-ability Remote Control is Sticky Bomb and its sub-ability Kaboom, and the abilities Lay Siege and Siege Toggle Mode is the Siege Station spell Toggle on and off. So what do you guys think? Isn't it insane? And come to think of it, I think I should make a video about all those heroes I made back then. And who knows, maybe Icefrog will notice me in the process and hire me? Well, if that happens, you guys will get more than just 2 heroes per year, so it's a win-win. So anyways, back to the video in hand. The next hero is Zephyrus, which might be this old removed hero of Terezakaze, the wind god, making a comeback. Also fun fact, the name Zephyrus is the name of the Greek god of the west wind. Man, They seem to be starting to port a lot of gods into Dota. I think Dota is going to become Smite or something. Then we have Bruiser. Basically seems to be a fighting hero similar to Bristleback, Tusk or Brewmaster. Maybe he was there in the fight where those three fought in the tavern. He might be this ogre character from Artifact named Keefe because he is also referred to as the Bruiser. But one ability that seems off is this bike kick ability. Does he have a bike? Anyway, moving on to Corpse Mother. Might be something like a witch hero. Probably something similar to Mama Ebb in Underlords, and maybe even might be her. Since she's dead and now she's the corpse mother, her abilities seem to revolve around life and souls. So basically he's something of a mix between Death Prophet and Vice Age. Next up we have Hoplite. Hoplite have multiple abilities with the word aspect in it. It has 3 variations of it, and each of these versions have active and a passive component. I think this is the hero who have the primary attribute shifting spell like power traits. I mean, acumen, dexterity and power are just fancy words for strength, agility and int. So I think this hero can switch between the 3 attributes at will. I know I said this before in the Valkyrie video, but I'm pretty sure that this hero is more likely to have the attribute switching spell. So now I think that Valkyrie's Freya's Blade is just a spell that grants her with different orb effects with each form. His other spells are Bull Rush, Move in Cover, Shield Throw and Obliterate. So he has a shield, that's confirmed. And move in cover seems to be something like Bulwark's active Mars has. And Hoplite means a heavily armed foot soldier in ancient Greece, and they usually have a shield and a spear. At first I thought it was probably Sora Khan, but she doesn't have a shield, so Hoplite might not be her. Another possibility is that this is Emperor Galanius, the character introduced in the LC comic. This is only because there's a spell named Bull Rush, and because the emblem of the Bronze Legion is a bull snake, often placed on their shields, and Galanius have these horns. But other than that, there's not much to work with, as we don't even see what his weapons are in the comic. Next up we have Sea Mystic, who has water related spells, and maybe he's the 5th spirit, but he might be this character from the Monkey King comic, and based on one of his ability names, he seems to have the Ocean Hearts passive. Then we have Fighter Monk, basically a fighting hero based on Kung Fu or something, with different stances like Bull, Mantis and Crane stance. Okay, next up we have Toad. He seems like this hero from League. He has a spell named Tongue Lash, which might be similar to this tongue ability. And this fairy hero might be just an old version of Dark Willow, since flight and spin sound a lot like Shadow Realm and Bedlam. Then we have Grendel. The name Grendel is found in the poem Beowulf. He is depicted as a monster or a giant. This seems to be reflected in his spells. Because Absorb sounds like a spell that saps strength around him like Decay, and Health Armor seems to be something similar to the old Warcry Sven had with a damage block based on his strength. If this is the case, both these spells have obvious synergy, so I think this is a tank type hero, possibly an offlaner. And last we have Viking, Peddler and Squirrel. Viking seems to be a tanky brawler type hero, might be something similar to Gangplank from League, and the Squirrel hero is similar to Teemo from League, with most of his abilities being very similar to Teemo. I mean, this bushwhack ability is literally a synonym of guerrilla warfare. I don't know about you guys, but I'm kind of worried about this hero. Because from what I've heard, Teemo is basically the Techis of League. So get ready to deal with 2 Techis in one team if this hero is released. And add Enno to the mix and you got one annoying draft to deal with. The remaining abilities are Sixth Sense, which might be the old Blur Phantom Assassin had, the one that detects nearby enemies. And the other spell was March of the Squirrels. Is this March of Machines? Or maybe it's similar to this ability from Teemo. And Peddler, like his name suggests, is basically a traveling hero who has 2 spells that allow him to equip wand and a crossbow. Maybe switch between magical and physical attacks. So that completes the list of leaked heroes of these files. And since you guys watched this video this far, there's a bonus hero I would like to include in this list. And that is another hero hinted from the Anti-Mage persona. Listen to these voice lines.
Stick with me, kid. I won't let them hurt you. Alright, kid. If you ask nicely, I'll let you be my ward. Oh, killing that kid was a lot less emotionally stressful than I thought it would be. It's past your bedtime, kid.
So there seems to be a kid hero coming to Dota, and no, these voice lines aren't directed towards the Invoker's persona. However, she does have another voice line directed towards Invoker that gives an interesting twist to this discussion.
I take no joy in killing a father.
So Invoker is a father? And what if this new kid hero is Invoker's kid? I mean, no other hero mentions that Invoker is a father, not even Undyne, who remembers his original name, Carl. I'll explain the relationship between Invoker and Undyne in a future video. Digging deep into this matter, I found 2 other voice lines that seem to refer to this kid. I'm not sure if these voice lines are referring to the kid hero, but they seem to fit if you assume that Invoker is his father.
I don't say this often, but I could really learn a thing or two from you. Of course, I think it's a sad story, but that doesn't take away from the horrible things you've done.
And you know what? I think I know who this kid hero is. I think it's Good Kind from this Axe comic. If they are father and son, they should have resemblance, right? So let's look at Invoker, or more specifically Kid Invoker. He has blonde hair, so does he. He has pointy ears, so does he. And he has a book, and so does he. Wait, what? No. What I meant is that he is the Bard of Axe, which basically means a poet, and this kind of signals the intellect that he gets from his father Invoker. So why doesn't Invoker ever mention his son? So this is my theory. Invoker is basically a prideful hero, and as you can see, Good Kind doesn't seem to have any magical abilities. So I think Invoker is ashamed of Good Kind or something and abandoned him? Maybe, because this line from the anti-mage persona kinda signals this abandonment.
Of course, I think it's a sad story, but that doesn't take away from the horrible things you've done.
And since this voice line just appeared in the recent persona, I think this is because they are intending to release this kid hero soon. And on top of all that, he is the one who was interested in the War of the Ancients in the first place. And he is the one who urged Axe to fight in the War of the Ancients. Maybe he was trying to find a trace of his father? Probably. So I think this is Invoker's son. And this hero might even be the peddler hero I mentioned earlier, as the backpack he carries looks a lot like the type that peddlers carry. Well, that was crazy, wasn't it? This video dragged on longer than I thought, as the more I digged into this matter, the more info I found, and I wanted to share all this information with you guys. So what do you guys think? Will these heroes make it to Dota soon? Will this be the great confluence Void Spirit mentioned? I mean, if you guys watch all the 3 videos I made about this league, you can see the recurring theme of these heroes being very similar to the heroes from other MOBAs. So maybe this is the great confluence, the merging of all MOBA genre games. Well, only time will tell. And as always, don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more content like this. And also comment down below if you guys have any theories of your own. I would love to hear about them. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.